Hello everyone. Today we're gonna solve the subdomain visit count problem. This is the this is a problem on Leetcode and it is a very basic problem to use Hashmap or hash table. So first of all, we're gonna have a frequency of a domain, and then we need to count how many times a domain is accessed. So basically, if we have a domain like this, we're gonna have three subdomain with this one and this one and this one, and we need to count how many times we access to this domain. So how can we do that? So basically, for each of a subdomain, we're gonna use a key value data structure, or more specifically, we're gonna use an order map right here, which is basically a hash map, right? A hash map or a hash table. So we're gonna use a another map of string, and we're gonna count the frequency of the string for each of the domain. So the most important part for this problem is that how can we split a string into many subdomain, right? I think that is the most important part. So first of all, we're gonna have for each of the string, right? For string as in each of the string, and And then for each of the domain, we're gonna process the domain to count how many times each of a substring is accessed, right? And then we're gonna have a result, just a result to yep, we're gonna just have a result to see how many times we're gonna have for each of the subdomain. So basically, for each of a uh, let's say for each of a frequency and for each of a subdomain, right? We're gonna connect them together by a string. Let's say we're gonna have like a frequency plus with a domain name, right? Subdomain name. Yeah, basically, we're gonna do something like this, and we're gonna push this result into our result array. So that's basically the idea. And then now we're gonna have a data structure to process each of the domain. So we're gonna have a string domain, and for each of the domain, we're gonna have to extract the subdomain in this domain, and we're gonna count how many times a subdomain is accessed. So to do that, we're gonna have a key value data structure like this to store the frequency of each of the string. So it should look like this, and another map, a string with integer, and then right, that's look good to me. And first of all, we're gonna need to separate. We're gonna need to split a frequency and the domain. So I'm gonna use a string stream right here, and then we're gonna separate the string domain and the frequency. Um, so let's say this one is the original string domain, right? domain string, the whole domain string, and we're gonna separate the domain name and the frequency. So first of all, we're gonna extract the frequency first, and then we're gonna extract the domain, and then we're gonna consider all of the subdomain in our main domain. So to do that, we're gonna look from the right side to the left side, and each time we meet the dot right here, we're gonna stop and we're gonna consider this one is a substring. So basically, we're gonna start from the right side like this, and then we are gonna extract all of the substring from the right side. So first of all, we're gonna look through the domain size -1 right here, and then I greater than or equal than 0, and then we will consider if this one is a dot, and we're gonna process it, and otherwise we will just need to have the subdomain, a string called subdomain, right, equal to this, and we're gonna just update our subdomain by we need to put it to the left side. So this one is domain I plus with the subdomain, and then in this, if we need to check whether or not our current subdomain already in the hash map. If we already have it, we just need to update the frequency of it, and if we don't, we need to initialize it. So we have, if we find the current subdomain, we're gonna it's different with the end. We're gonna have the geomap, the current domain would be equal to frequency, and else we're gonna just update geomap of the current frequency plus equal to the frequency. So we just increase by the frequency in this case. I think that's all for this one. And finally, if we finish all of the substring and we have the final main, the whole domain, we need to update it again. So I'm gonna do the same thing right here. Oops, not this one. UMAP could be equal to UMAP for the whole domain plus with the frequency. And then in this one, we're gonna look through all of the pair, all of the frequency and the subdomain, and then we're gonna push all of them into our result array right here. So we're gonna have a constant. We're gonna have a pointer to look through all of the key value, and the key in our hash map is the domain. So we have the domain would be equal to p dot first, gonna be key, and frequency gonna be p dot second. This one is value, and then we have result dot pushback. We're gonna match the frequency and the substring together. So we're gonna need to convert the frequency into string first. So we're gonna have toString frequency and plus with a space and plus with our current domain, our current subdomain, and finally we're gonna return the results here. Right. 18 subdomain right here. Oh, this one is subdomain, subdomain. Yep. The second right here. Perfect. This one is very similar to the work break. I used to do it before. If you haven't seen this video yet, you should check it out to see it. It's very similar to this problem. And the topic for this problem is hash map, hash table, and I think just string for it. Yep, and the and string, and the time complexity for this one gonna be O of uh, this one. For the process domain, we're gonna need to look through all the substring, and this one is on, and this one is look like o1, but because we insert a character to the left side, so this one actually going to be on. So for the whole this code blocks is going to be on square for this one, and then uh, on square with n is the length of the domain, and this one we have let's say this one is psi of s. It's gonna be make more sense, and we have n is the number of domain. So we look through n and o length of s square. So for the whole thing, it's gonna be n multiplied with the length of each of the string square, and then for this one, it's gonna be on. So the time complexity for us is gonna be O of n multiplied with the length of each of the string square, with n is the number of subdomain, and the space complexity is gonna be O of let's see, we have, yeah, the space complexity should be on as well, because we're gonna store all the frequency of uh, all of the subdomain. Actually, this one should be the number of subdomain instead of on. Right. That's all for this question. Hope this helped you guys. And if you like my video, just subscribe my channel and like this video, so that other people can see my video as well and can solve this problem as well. Thank you very much.